loud in here, man. Go for it. Hey guys, remember to keep it down and don't talk while the other person's talking.
Thanks. I don't think I heard you correctly, but did you just say that people are in debt because... Did you just say we're in debt because people are doing illegal stuff?
No.
You just said that. I'm pretty sure I just heard you say that.
No.
And I'm pretty sure we just went through like a couple of wars and we have like troops stationed overseas. And that's pretty much adding a lot to the 16 trillion we're in debt. I don't think me smoking a joint behind the school building is going to affect that. $5 to some kid is not going to affect $6 trillion. $16 trillion. Alright, Lanier, go ahead.
Let's keep up the side channels.
And also, you guys standing there in chairs.
Okay, so before I start, I want to know how many people are against the legalization of marijuana.
Against?
Raise your hand if you are against it.
You are against the legalization of marijuana.
All right. Well, first thing that I really want to say is that everything has like negative effects to it, and I feel that most of the world is like brainwashed by the government that like weed is like such a bad thing. Now, don't get me wrong, everything has its like bad side effects, but it's been proven that like they give weed to cancer patients because it helps stop the spread of cancer cells. It relieves pain, nausea, and it relieves a bunch of other symptoms too. People always take out the negative things and the bad things about marijuana. Another thing is that, as a lot of people were already talking about, that marijuana is, just went mind blank. Marijuana is actually really, marijuana is actually too expensive for our justice system, and I would say that we would make a lot more money if we had made marijuana legalized, and yeah, I don't know what to say.
Alright, so I'm Chad and I'm a senior. So basically everybody who's been for marijuana has mentioned one of three things. They said that it will decrease crime, it will make people happy, or it will give government money. And I'm about to tell you why that's all wrong. It'll decrease crime, for one. Okay, so all these hardcore gangs in LA, Atlanta, Boston, they don't make their majority of their money off marijuana. You know why? Because what Young said, you can go to your classroom and you can get a gram of weed from some random guy you don't even know. What they make their hardcore money off of is heroin, meth, coke, the hardcore drugs where you can't go and get in your Spanish class, okay? So to say if we legalize marijuana isn't going to say that we're going to take crime off the street, because the gangs still have all that other stuff they can sell you and still make money off of. It's not even going to leave a dent in their amount of money they make, okay? So also, it says it'll make people happy. Now, personally, I don't smoke weed. That's my own personal liberty not to. But personally, it wouldn't make me like happier if I had helped legalize that. Mostly because weed, yes, what Lanier said, it does help cancer patients. But I can give a cancer patient meth, and they'd be just as happy. Because either way, a drug's a drug. And either way, you're going to feel happy. And overloading someone's system with drugs doesn't necessarily make them happy, it just makes them not feel anything. And then lastly, everyone and their brother say that this is going to give the government so much money, but it's not. Alright, look at alcohol ads for instance. Okay, alcohol companies, they're all privately owned. If we legalize weed and assume that weed was just going to be grown by the government and sold by the government, we make all this money, that's not true. Because I tell you one thing, we live in America, and if there's money to be made, people will make it. There's going to be tons of corporations and private businesses spring up just because, oh, well, we can sell weed now and it's legal. So the government isn't going to get the money. And even if they tax the money from these marijuana businesses, it's still not going to be enough to, solve our deficit. If you really want to get to the root of problem of solving our budget, I do hope you think that there's more things important than legalizing marijuana. For instance, getting our troops back home, getting unnecessary spending, federal, loans coming back and not have to spend so much. So I think those are three things we should just take in mind. Cameron.
Hi, I'm Cameron. I'm a junior for all those who don't know me. So, what's your name again?
Chad.
Chad. Yeah. Okay, so Chad just gave us 3 reasons why legalizing marijuana would suck. One, it would put a dent in the cartel's, profits, the stuff they're moving. It wouldn't make people happy, and it wouldn't make the government money. Well, let's say that's all true, and I'll ignore the fact that the cartel's money comes mainly from marijuana, and the fact that people love weed, and the fact that the government could take it from the privately owned companies before they get their hands on it. Fine, let's just say that's all true. How about we legalize all drugs? If you take away all of the cartel's profit, or all their products, they have no profit. If you legalize all drugs, everybody will be happy. If you legalize all drugs, the government could sell everything and make tons of more money. Thank you.
All right, Yashal, good. All right, Yashal Najeeb. Basically, the thing I have with weed, I think it's just history repeating itself. The illegalization of weed is as ineffective and unnecessary and an irresponsible move by the government, in all honesty, as was a prohibition of alcohol in the 1920s. All that did was create gangs. I mean, all the mafias we know were created mostly because of moonshining, because alcohol was legal, and then all this crime came up because people wanted alcohol. It was a demanded product, and these gangs would give it to them. And Chad said that weed won't take a dent in the profit margin of heroin, which is correct, but weed it's a gateway drug for dealers to go to higher level drugs. And what I mean by that is, once you get weed, you start making money, right? Because you're shipping a product that people demand. Once you get that money, you get greedy, and you realize that you can make more money off of like heroin or cocaine or whatever other drug that's going to destroy people's lives. This creates like the gap between marijuana users and people who want to sell heroin because they just want the money. Also, it unnecessarily ruins people's lives because everybody be honest, how many of you guys have smoked weed? Be honest. It's not a sting. Don't say it costs. Alright? How many of you guys had negative experience? Like, I've heard of people who drink alcohol who've had negative experiences, but I haven't heard of like people who drink experiences. Moreover, it's bigger. Because possession is illegal at this point, it unnecessarily like ruins the lives or puts in shambles the lives of people who are generally good people who just got caught using a recreational drug. There's so many stories of someone who just gets caught with some weed, and they have to go through court. They get like a felony on their case, and they're generally a good person, but they just have weed. So I think it's just unnecessary to legalize it. It's not that bad of a drug, and it creates that margin for people to jump further to heroin. Not do heroin, but selling heroin, stuff like that. So. Good point, Yashal. Avi, go ahead.
Okay, so a lot of you guys are saying that you're comparing marijuana to alcohol, and that's bullshit because last polls, I think there are 130 billion alcohol consumers above the age of 12 in America, and with marijuana, it's between 25 and 60 million. I know it's kind of a big range, but it's still a lot less than 130 billion. Next point. Personally, what? I mean, 130 million, my bad, and 60, and thank you, Yashal. Anyways, some of you guys know, some of you guys don't. I have a lot of experience in marijuana, or at least no, a genuine amount of experience in marijuana as far as using it, selling it, buying it, growing it, cultivating it. So naturally and personally, I think that all adds to the experience. If marijuana was legal, how gay would it be to just be like, yeah, I'm at home getting high? No, like when you're like out there with your homies and you're in a car or something, you're like, oh shit, there's a cop. You're like, hide the bomb, hide the bomb. Like that's what makes the experience. You know, the fact that it's illegal is what makes me enjoy it, or made me enjoy it prior to like quitting. And if it was legal, I think the number of users would go down. I mean, a lot of you guys are saying that for recreational use, a lot more people will start using it if it was legal, or if we legalized all drugs. When statistics in other countries show that when decriminalizing drugs, initially the amount of drug users goes up, but then after about 5 to 10 years, it drops tremendously. So I think we should keep marijuana illegal so I can continue to have fun, life-threatening situations in my life and keep my life dangerous and fun. Thank you very much.